Can you guess what's in this box? Very, very exciting. It's from Hearthstone. Let's find what's inside. This is cool. So, update, what? I've had my 940 now 2 or 3 weeks now. Am I still happy with it? You better believe it. You better believe it. This is fabulous. Okay, what is it? Well, I'll show you here. This is a soapstone. What are they calling it? Evaporator. Evaporator. So what is it? So it's, first off, oh, it's beautifully made. Look at that. An enameled cast iron lid. Soapstone is an incredible thing. Yeah, as you know, we just got our wood stove, and it is made with the soapstone panels. And what's so amazing about soapstone is its ability to retain heat. So how it's different than cast iron, like a cast iron stove. The benefits of it are cast iron heats up very quickly, but also when the fire dies out, it cools very quickly as well. Where soapstone, once the fire is out, it'll continue to warm for hours. Some people say to warm very effectively for 4 hours. On the downside, though, is it takes a little bit longer to get going. But this is a soapstone. If you've never felt soapstone before, it is probably, as far as sensory goes to me, just the feel of touch. It's one of the most delightful substances that I've ever felt. I don't know what it is. My parents put soapstone countertops on their kitchen, and it's nice. It just has this, it's stone, obviously, but it has this softness about it it's just hard to explain. And it being a natural material, you know, there are no two alike. Look at the grains in there. So what this is just basically, well, as you know, Buck gave this to us when we bought our stove. It's designed to be a humidifier. So wood, if you burn wood heat, if you have a wood stove, it can get kind of dry. And that can be a problem too, you know, if you have problems with nosebleeds or a lot of woodwork or like guitars or musical instruments, it can dry out. So putting some humidity back into the air is a good thing, and that's what this is designed for, is to sit on top of the soapstone stove, and you fill it with water, I don't know, once a day or so, and it just kind of simmers there and puts humidity back into the house. But what Buck was saying, which I thought was cool, is what he uses for his as a soup bowl. So Mrs. W can put like a nice winter time, you know, what's better than a nice potato soup or a good homemade chicken noodle soup? Imagine having that cooking there on the wood stove. It'd be very, very, very nice. So a couple things we need to do. Buck told me, read the instructions. Do not start using this without reading the instructions, because soapstone is somewhat porous, and if we don't season this properly, then to seal it, then it will leak, and we don't want that. The second thing is we need to make a little, what does Mrs. W call them? A trivet? Trivet? Something a little square like a coaster for this to sit on. Here, I'll show you why. Because here, of course, obviously, the top of our stove, this is something that we don't want to put anything on. Soapstone is very fragile. It can scratch very easily. And having this sitting on there, of course, is going to really beat it up. And something like this where you're going to have for 30 plus years, you want to take care of it, right? So I get that. So I'm going to make some soapstone trivets so we can set things and cook on it. So here is a soapstone tile, just a 12-inch by, looks like about ½ inch or so tile. I just love soapstone. I mean, the first time I think my experience of soapstone is use it for welding. They make small soapstone pencils that you could write on metal with, and they don't leave a mark. But this is kind of a different stuff than this. I don't know. It's just really interesting thing. So we're going to cut this with a tile saw. We'll measure this and we'll cut this into, maybe we can get a couple. I don't know what size. Maybe we could get 4. Maybe that's the best way. And then Buck gave us these, which are kind of cool. They're kind of they're that heat-resistant material. It's like the stuff you use for a gasket on the door, but it's got adhesive on the back, and so I can cut these, and I can put these on the bottom of the trivets, and that way, when they get moved around, they won't scratch. My only concern is because we're going to be holding this off the wood stove, we're going to have a dead air space there. I wonder if enough heat will get through to effectively to get the water or the soup up to the temperature that we want. But we'll find out. If not, we can always take them off. Good grief! Now that Buck subscribes to the channel, he's going to be watching me, and you know how he is by putting stuff on the stove. So I gotta. Can I put a tape measure on the stove, Buck? Is that okay? Well, be careful. What size do we want to make this thing? So what I'm thinking is, I don't think we can get two. I don't think I want a bunch of little ones. That's not going to be very nice. This looks like a good size right there. How about we just match that, right? So what is that? That's 8 inches. Well, it's not square. It's 8 by 8 3/16. That's an odd size. And this is 12, so obviously we're not going to get. We can only get one out of there, and maybe a smaller one. Let's go. Let's lay it out, and we'll go cut it. But I think that would be a good size. That way you could place it anywhere you want it on the stove. So before we cut the tiles, we've got to season the soapstone pot, and it says here in the technical data sheet to coat it thoroughly with either a vegetable or an olive oil. And I happen to have some extra virgin olive oil here, and it said inside it out. All right, you do that. It said color will darken. That's all right. That's fine with me. I don't care. Dark is fine. So we're going to coat that with olive oil inside and out. Now, if we don't do this according to the instructions, it will leak. And if you don't do it initially, you can't go back and redo it. It just never will be the same. So it's important to do this to prevent the leak. So after we do this, it said after we coat this, well, I think it's prettier. Look at that. It looks nicer with the olive oil on it. That's a better color. Boy, soapstone is a cool thing. We looked at some. They have some really amazing. I think maybe they're from Finland. Some big soapstone stoves that have like a cooker built in that you can actually bake inside of them while you're heating your home, kind of a combination deal. And they're huge. I mean, they take up the whole corner of a house, and they're very expensive. I mean, they were, like starting at $10,000, and it just wasn't something that was an option for us, but would have loved to have had one. But they have this tremendous thermal mass. I can just imagine once you got that thing heated up and going, it would be that would be quite a nice heat for your home. Okay, it's all coated. Now it says we need to fill it with water. Now, per the technical data sheet, fill it with water right up to the brim. Now the last thing is we want to put it in the cold oven. According to the technical data sheet, cold oven. Oh, I got my racks all out of sort here. Fit in there? Okay, now I'll raise this one up here. Not very good at that, am I? Cold oven, full of water. And we're going to turn it up to 350 degrees for 2 hours. There's a real time delay with this gas oven, but I just heard it. Something going on down there. Some flame action of some sort. All right. 2 hours. All right. So we'll come back and check it at 12 o'clock. So while that's doing its thing, we can cut our trivet/coaster. I'm not going to go 8 by 8 3/16 set. That bugs me. We'll just go a nice 8 by 8. So to cut this, I'm using my neighbor's borrowed tile saw. Tile saw is this is a real entry-level type of saw. It's not a big one, but it just runs. It's a diamond blade that runs in water where you can cut ceramics or glass with. It's very effective, just like a table saw, but for cutting tiles. So how'd we do here? How's that look? It cuts very easy. Nice and clean. What's wrong with that? Boy, soapstone is the neatest stuff. It's so pretty. I'll lift the guard up here so you can see the blade better. Sorry for getting you guys all wet there. Got a little spray on my lens. I love these. You guys use these microfiber glass cleaning cloths? They're kind of like a big version of that cloth that comes with when you buy a new pair of glasses. Boy, for me, where I'm constantly cleaning lenses and screens and glasses, it's almost taken the place of my handkerchief. So it turned out really nice. I think that's a good size. That'll fit on there good. You can put all sorts of pots or different things, not just the steamer on there. So the question is, what do you think we should do with these guys? Is there anything we can do with them? We got them both. Are they the same? Yeah, essentially. I think that those would make some really nice drink coasters. So that worked out good. We got an 8x8, and we got 5 4x4 coasters. Those would be nice for drinks, won't they? Give a little pleasure every time you look at it and feel it. I like soapstone. So now we got to pick what side's going to be the prettiest side, I guess. I wonder if I should cover this with oil too. It might smoke. I don't know. I don't want it to smoke. I think, which side looks better here? This side. It's kind of got some irregularities. I guess they all do. Well, I'm going to go with this side up here. So what we got to do, now this stuff here, it's fraying on the end. And my initial thought was to take a lighter and burn it, but this is that heat resistant stuff. That's just going to laugh at us if we do that. I guess we can just cut it clean, cut that off there short, and once it's in place, it's most likely not going to move and it should be fine. All right, so I'm going to use Mrs. W's special KitchenAid scissors. We have a rule, these are not to be taken out of our kitchen, which continually gets violated. All right, so what do we want here? We want probably, 3 strips? 1, 2, how many of these things do we have? Looks like we've got 4. Do we just do 4 strips? Or do we run a square around there? If we ran a square around there, there would be maybe more surface area? Or do we just want 2 surface area there to get heat? Oh, all these decisions in life are so difficult. All right, I'm going to hold it back. Let's hold it back about an inch. I think 2 is enough. Let's hold it back about an inch so we can't see it. How about that right there? Now it's got adhesive on the back. Now if I would have been smart, I'd have cut those the same, but that would have been too short. So let's do this. Have I cut one of these off yet here? I wonder what the stuff is made out of. It's incredible. I mean, when you think about the temperatures that you get in a wood stove, especially a cast iron stove, how hot they burn, and that it's able to hold up against that constant day in and day out of use is pretty incredible. I know the old ones used to be asbestos, but people take a dim view on that stuff now. And rightfully so. What do you think? Just 2? It's not going to be tippy, is it? I don't want to put too much on there because I'm afraid that it's going to affect the surface area. It's not going to get as hot or conduct the heat through as well. It's got some really good sticky on there. So let's hold this back an inch on both sides there, roughly. That's clever. I've never seen this stuff with a sticky tape on it. I wonder what it's used for. Maybe doors that don't have grooves. Well, no, that wouldn't work because that sticky would just melt away. What's wrong with that? Do you think we need more? Should we do this too? Yeah, I agree too. I think it does need more. So when I'm measuring things, whether it be pipe, lots of things, I use sometimes the tape measure is not handy, it's not critical. I'll take my thumb and pinch it, and then I'll slide whatever it is I'm cutting right up to my thumb. Something that when you do plumbing, that you use all the time, because it's not, it's not like carpentry where it needs to be quite so precise. So this one here, yeah, this is going to be better to have the 4. That looks better to me. Soapstone. I wonder where it comes from, where it's quarried. It sure is fragile stuff. It's not coming off there very good, is it? I can smell the olive oil heating up in the oven. Oh, yeah, there we go. It's only been in there for about 20 minutes though. Yeah, that's better, isn't it? One more to go. One more to go. So the heart racer, remember the heart racer yesterday? She ran off with her bun, that hamburger bun. That was the cutest thing. They do that all the time. Heart racer is the alpha of the dogs, and she just lords over Miss Pants. It's just kind of sad sometimes. But so we'll give a little bit of table scraps or food to both of them. Of course, Miss Pants, she just gobbles hers down. But the heart racer, she won't. She'll save it, and she'll lay it down on the ground about 2 feet away from her, and then she'll just make Miss Pants' life miserable, and she'll lord over it. And she doesn't say anything or bark or anything. She just exudes that I'm in charge, and this is my biscuit, and you're not going to have it. And poor Miss Pants sits there and barks at it. All right, let's go see how it looks. That's pretty nice, huh? Yeah, I like that. That's going to be nice. You can put it wherever we put it. These are all about the same. They're all 8 inches, so it's going to, I could just put it right over there on the back. Right there, it won't get knocked off. Okay, let's go make up one of those coasters, and maybe the front there. It's hard to say. So I mentioned a couple of videos back that I was looking for some discs to put on the feet to kind of just spread that weight so it doesn't crack my granite tiles. And I've got one of my subscribers, I'll share it with you when they come, is sending us some silver dollars. I mentioned, Buck said silver dollars are kind of a nice touch for putting that under and spreading that. So I'll leave those carpets under there. But somebody asked, how are you going to lift that up? Because this is over 400 pounds, this thing. Can you believe that? I think it's twice as heavy as my other wood stove. So what we'll do is I'll put a long 4x4 across here, maybe 4x6, and we'll use like a fulcrum. And I'll put a 4x there and have Mrs. W out here on a handle, and we'll lift that up just a little bit, and we'll drop that right down on top of those silver dollars. And that'll be kind of a cool conversation piece there, I think. So Mrs. W thought we ought to have multiple coasters on the top of the stove so that she could use it for putting multiple pans for keeping things warm or having guests over. It seems like it's a tempting thing. It is for me to place things down on a wood stove, so this will maybe someone will put it on this rather than on top of the stone. And I think that's a fabulous idea. Do you know what time it is?
Cuckoo time.
I've been cooking for you. I made lunch. It's right
You
in
did?
there. Yeah.
Awesome.
Check it out.
What'd you make? Ooh, it looks like a cauldron.
Stone soup. Oh, look at that. It's you see that?
What, it's boiling?
It's fizzing and bubbling.
Yeah, that's why I said cauldron.
Interesting. Why is it jumping like that? So where are the hot pot holders?
They're in that top drawer.
So you are putting your kitchen together today.
I
see.
am. I'm getting ready of the camping gear and
What
I'm
are
washing
these?
pot holders.
They're silicone? They
Yeah.
work?
Well, you'll let me know. My other ones were so dirty and disgusting
Yeah.
that it was
Well,
time.
they're definitely grippy.
All the old ones are in the wash right now.
I'll just leave the water in it. Well, I guess I could dump it
Oh
out.
no, you can leave it in there.
Well, it's all oily.
Okay. Oh, well, don't put it on the dishes, love.
Can I put it in the sink?
Yeah.
I don't want to drop it. So I'm assuming it's going to stay that dark color. Those are great pot holders.
Are they? Good?
Yeah, well, they're sticky. You know, they don't feel like I'm going to drop stuff.
Ooh, I think this is romantic lighting.
It is?
Do you know why?
Because we're romantic people.
Because we have the special steam option on the lens.
Look what I made for you.
It's beautiful, isn't
I
it?
call them coasters. You call them trivets? Is it trivet? Trivet?
A trivet. That's what to put the pot on. But I see over there you have little coasters for the drinks.
Well, yeah. Well, that was your idea. So I put those on there. I thought, well, you might want to like put your, another pan or something on here.
Yeah, that's great. So
Cookie sheet or something?
As those of you who saw the earlier video, you're not supposed to put anything on top of the soapstone, and
So
we have a tendency to use it for everything. So
That's what I said. Buck. Now that he's a subscriber, he's gonna. If I put anything on there, he's gonna call me and hate on me. So we have to be careful.
that's right.
All right. Well, that's it. I'm not gonna start a wood stove fire today because it's just too hot.
It is too hot.
But
It's
that is quite
beautiful.
charming, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, now for some soup. It is a beautiful day on the homestead. Well, I always say that. Well, it has been beautiful. So some have asked about this, the video that I'm showing at the end card. This is actually real time. This is right what I'm looking at right now. This is right through my office window. And I show you. I don't repeat the same one over and over again. I show it to you. I thought, maybe we'll just do this from now on. And you can see the changing of the seasons and enjoy it along with me, because we certainly do. You know, the thing about it is when you wake up in the morning and you look, it's never the same. It's always different. There's always some crazy cloud formation, or sometimes you can't see it at all if it's storming. But very, very blessed to be able to live in such a beautiful place. So I was reading through the comments, and someone actually sent me a personal message, and I'm not going to name him publicly. And he wasn't doing it to be mean, and I do read comments. I don't respond to all of them. I'm just not able to. But Mrs. W and I read the majority of comments, and I think it's important to. It helps me to gain, I guess, a gauge the health of the channel, or are we going in the right direction? And he was he wrote me to say that he didn't like the channel anymore because I've gotten away from, he liked axes and timber framing. I gotten away from that, and it wasn't the same anymore. It wasn't the way it used to be. And I haven't responded to him yet. I've been thinking about it, and this is what I've determined in regards to that, is that the channel has moved into more of a little bit more of a vlogging format, more of a following me along, or following the family along with what we do in our day-to-day things, rather than just a strict DIY, do it yourself. And why is that? And some people like it. Majority of more people like it than dislike it. But I've been doing this now between my two channels for 8 years. 8 years I've been uploading. YouTube has been a huge part of my life. And it's important for me to make the type of videos that I want to make, and I'm not saying I'm getting away from DIY, just the opposite, or doing things. I'm going to do them, but I'm going to share them with you as I do them. Moving into the vlog format has been something that's been necessary for me because of I've taken on this huge project with remodeling the house. You know, and I put my hand to the plow and I've got to see it through. It's very close now, but that has certainly taken away from time. I've got a lot of axe restorations and, you know, a lot of those things. I've got a big timber framing project, a couple of them sitting undone. I only have so much time to go. And so what I'm going to do in the future is I've not tried to invent content, something that I thought people wanted to do, but I've always done what I've felt like what I wanted to do at the time. And I think it's really important I guess that's really the most important thing that I tell people that are wanting to start a YouTube channel. I say, you know, the content is irrelevant. It really doesn't make any difference, because I subscribe to a lot of channels that I really enjoy that have content or do particular things or cover topics that I have no interest in. I would never do it, but I enjoy it because they're enthusiastic about it, and that's so important. So what I'm getting at is what's important for me if I'm going to be creating videos and to put all this time and effort into them, that I try to make these as watchable as possible, and I'm happy to do it and very blessed to do it. But it's for me to do that, I have to really be excited about it. I was excited about this silly little pot, and it's kind of ridiculous to do a 20-minute video on something like this, but you know, that's what I enjoy doing, and that's the way it's going to be. So I'm sorry if we're not doing enough axes and those things, or working in the forestry. It's just been a matter of time. But I can tell you that this project is certainly winding down, and we will be getting back to that. It's not something I've walked away from. It's just been, we've had to shift gears, and I do enjoy the vlogging style mixed with the DIY. I like to be able to tell stories and bring you guys along and to share our life as well as maybe learning a few things together. So that's kind of my response to that question. So I really appreciate the feedback, and it helps me to, you know, reevaluate, take a hard look at myself, what we're doing with the channel, and make sure that we stay focused. So that's it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next video.